Well, mid-June is the time tax professionals say millions of Americans can expect to receive a CP14 notice from the IRS in the mail. This letter explains that the IRS has determined you still owe unpaid taxes. I recently spoke with a tax expert who warns you should never ignore a CP14 notification.
The IRS is good at one thing and one thing the most. They are good at collecting the money that is due them.
As the Chief Tax Information Officer at Jackson Hewitt, Mark Stever says taxpayers have several choices and options on how to address a CP14 notice from the IRS.
None of which are just ignore it until you're ready to handle this, in 6 months. That is the worst thing that you can do.
Mark says he understands receiving a letter from the IRS can be scary, but ignoring or accidentally throwing away a CP14 letter can end up costing you much more than you originally owed.
The penalties, the interest, the overall balance, in some cases will grow larger than the tax liability, as well as some of the limitations on what you can do to respond.
He also advises taxpayers that the amount listed on the CP14 notice might be incorrect.
And that can go for a variety of reasons. Data mismatch at the IRS, you left something off, you didn't include the right form or the right document for the credit.
Mark says in his 30 years working as a tax professional, the 2021 tax return was one of the most complicated years on record.
There were tax law changes. There were tax law changes in the middle of the year, retroactive to the prior year.
So he says if you simply call the IRS within 21 days of receiving the CP14 notification, you can dispute the amount listed that you owe. Or if you're facing financial hardship, you may be able to finance with an IRS installment plan.
If you can't pay, that really has no bearing to the IRS. They'll come after your assets, your savings, your retirement, or even your current income.
And Mark also reminds taxpayers that the IRS will only notify you by official letters in the mail. You will never receive an email or a phone call or text message from the IRS. If you do, that is likely a scam.